Yes guys, welcome back to episode 5 of the Muscle Mastery series, where I take you through exercise selection, execution, tempo, sets, reps, everything you need to know about getting wound. Today we're training arms, the most impressive muscle group which will get your physique popping more than anything else. So I'm going to give you my top tips for training arms. Let's go.
Top of the league, check the moves we're making. We're busy caking, you niggas busy raving. I had a teacher being naughty, called her misbehaving. I need a CSCS card, I put work on them pavements.
Alright, kicking off doing triceps. I usually like to do triceps first, opposed to doing biceps, because it takes up more of your arm and looks better when you fill out your triceps. So, my favourite exercise for growing big triceps is a push down. You'll see a lot of people do this with a rope. I don't like doing it with a rope. Personally, I don't feel it that much. And I don't know, I feel like it's a lot better with a V-bar or a straight bar. So, say I'm doing a V-bar, it just works better for me. Pick what works better for you. But this is my first exercise as I'm really looking to overload and go as heavy as possible. So let me show you some common mistakes that people do when doing a push down. First of all, they'll stand too far back from the machine, alright? If I'm doing it here, pumping it here, I'm only getting the end bit of the range. On the other hand, if I'm standing too close, I'm going to put too much load on the stretched position. Not to get too nerdy with the terms, but you just want to take a few steps back from the cable, so I'm like this. Second thing, elbow position. A lot of people, they'll like do a lot of this shit. Like, that's just, stop doing that. Have your elbows pinned towards your hips. The key thing with push down is that your elbows don't move at all, right? They stay in the same place the whole time because the point of rotation is on your elbows. So I like to put my thumbs over when I'm doing a press, because then you just get a bit more force behind it. And what I'm looking at doing is stretching up to this point. A lot of people, they'll go too high, it's putting unnecessary tension on your elbow. I learned that from Dorian Yates. So you want to start the movement here and then just press in. Up to about here and then press down. A lot of people, they'll finish the movement here. I have so much more space to lock out and contract. So I'm really looking at pressing inwards. So if you look here, my triceps fully contracted in this position, stretching up to the max stretch and then pressing. What I'm looking at doing is just pressing into my hips. I'm not looking at just pressing down. With a lot of these movements, people like pressing up and down, whereas you really need to push through to get that maximum contraction on your tricep. This movement is going to work this bit of your tricep here, the bit that you see through your t-shirt. So just make sure you're contracting properly, stretching, using good tempo. I'll show you what I mean throughout my sets, but yeah, that's how you do my favorite exercise for tricep. All right, doing my first set on the push down now. If you look at the weight that I'm doing, I'm trying to go pretty heavy on this to overload the triceps, whereas in some of the other exercises, more isolation focused exercises, I'll go a bit lighter and do a few more reps. So this, I'm aiming for about 8 to 10 reps, getting some decent load through the triceps. So let's go. The most important thing is that your elbow stays in the same spot. That way you can fully get all the contraction through your tricep. If you're moving your elbow around, a lot of it's going on your shoulders, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for your shoulders. So make sure your elbow stays locked in place. That's the most important thing. Right, pump covers come off already. One set into the workout, had to be done. But with triceps and arms in general, I like to keep my rest times between sets a lot shorter than for chest, back, shoulders, because they're bigger muscle groups, they need longer to recover. Whereas arms are small, precise, isolation muscles, so can recover a little bit quicker. And I'm going to shorten the rest times to keep the workout nice and intense, right? An arm workout should take 40 to 50 minutes if you're blasting them intensely. We're going to do 3 exercises for triceps, 3 for biceps. I'm going to give you 1 bonus for biceps at the end. And also work a bit of forearms, which is important. So I'm going to do my second set on push downs now. I'm only actually going to do 2 sets on this because I'm going quite heavy and I already feel a pump. So I've done my second set. Right, now we've done push down, which is going to target this bit of the tricep here. We're going to aim at this big fucking bit of meat behind here. I don't know what head it's called, I think it's the long head, whatever, who cares. We're going to do an overhead extension, which is going to target this nice bit of meat on your tricep. This is where most of the muscle fibers are in the tricep, so we're going to bang this down 3 sets. So we're going to do overhead, and then I'm going to show you the skull crusher after, which is also this little inside head here, nice bit of meat underneath your tricep. This is really what adds on to the size of your arms. If you want to fill out your t-shirts, you got to prioritize triceps. So this is my favorite exercise I'm going to show you for overhead and growing this long head of the tricep. So I'll get a rope, set pretty low, pick it up, twist it round. I'll use a pretty lightweight for this as well. Take a step forward from the machine. It's literally just raising out in front of you. Now a lot of people, the biggest mistake is they'll do this. It's going to fuck up your elbows more than anything else. So fix that, twist them inwards in a straight line so they're parallel. Then I'll extend out like this. Now, if you just do this and don't twist at the top, it's going to limit the contraction you can get, right? So what I'm doing, I'm going down and I'm going to twist it out at the top. That way my tricep's fully contracting. You can probably see my tricep popping at the top. In terms of depth, don't go all the way down because then you're going to fuck up your elbow. Squeeze and just down to this kind of movement, nice comfortable position, and extend out. Now you really don't want to go too heavy on this, otherwise you damage your shoulder and your elbow. It's quite a vulnerable exercise. Make sure you pick a light weight and just focus on the squeeze. Aim for 10 to 15, even 16, 17 reps on this. Just burn it out and get some good volume in. Right, now I'm moving on to dumbbell skull crusher. Pretty self-explanatory and easy exercise, but people still fuck it up. So let me show you how to do it. First of all, pick a light weight, be sensible. I'm gonna get nice flat on this bench, stable feet, elbows straight up to ceiling. A lot of people, they'll do this. There's just so much tension on your elbow. Whereas up here, it's all on the tricep, not right. And also, if your elbow's like this, your lats and back are actually stabilizing the movement. So a lot of the tension is put off your tricep. So have your arms straight up. All we're looking at doing is collapsing down until the dumbbells touch your shoulder. And then we're pushing back up. See how my elbow's fixed in the same position the whole time? Same as the push down. Elbows stay there and dumbbells just flick down onto your shoulder. Then press back up. Don't want to be doing this. Doesn't get you a better stretch, just fucks up your elbow. So nice, stable position here. Touching your shoulder literally and then press. A lot of people, this is important, when they collapse in the movement, they'll collapse out like this. When you struggle to get your reps out, their elbows will do this. That's one way to fucking break your arm. So you want to keep your elbows in, and if you have to collapse your form, collapse meaning if your form breaks, then you want to break down like this. See how I'm kind of bending my elbow and turn it into a bit of a press. If your elbows start wobbling out, you're going to fuck them up. So collapse down. Another little tip, put your feet on the bench and it'll help your back be flatter, right? Because we want a flat back. So we put all the tension on our arms. If my feet are on the floor, I'm more likely to bend my back, which takes some tension off the tricep. So put your feet up on the bench and it'll help you get a flat back. Got a decent little pump on. See how much of a difference having big triceps makes to your whole physique. Like, look how small my bicep is compared to this fucking big bit of horse meat here. Makes a big difference. If you're not getting a pump when you're doing the exercises either, you're probably doing something wrong because you want a good mind-muscle connection. Mind-muscle connection is the most important thing when training arms. If you're not feeling the movement, you're not getting a pump on, then you need to switch something. Maybe you need to switch your finger position, an angle that you're doing, do a different exercise. But if you're not getting pumped up from doing arms, then you're doing something wrong and you're missing out, because having an arm pump is probably one of the best things on planet Earth, if you ask me. Right, now I have an outrageous tricep pump. It's time to move on to the fun stuff with doing biceps. Kicking off in isolation curl, I always start my bicep work with really isolation focused exercise. That way, when I go into the heavier stuff where I'm overloading my biceps are fired up, I'm not as likely to engage my shoulders, back, chest, bigger muscle groups, so I'm focused on the bicep. Anyway, enough waffle. I'm going to start off by doing an isolation curl. If you don't know what that is, literally the most NPC bicep exercise, but it works. So all I'm going to do is rest my elbow on my leg. Use my legs as literally a pad. With the preacher curl, you'd use the pad. On the isolation curl, you use the leg. I like this one because your arm is positioned diagonally across, and I'll just get better contraction. So nice, set up your leg as a pad. Now the reason I do this over preacher curl is for that reason. I can get diagonal movement, and I just try and get better contraction on the bicep because I'm in control of everything. I can just line it up perfectly, whereas if we go over there to the preacher curl, I can show you with a preacher bench, sometimes it gets really awkward if the bench is, the angle's wrong or there's just too many factors to do with it. For example, like this, I know the pad just doesn't really sit well with my biceps, so I prefer to do the isolation curl, but preacher curl is definitely a good option. If you're looking for a different option to what I'm about to show you, then do preacher curl. That's what I did for many years, but I just can't really feel it in my bicep. I ended up doing it, but I could feel it in my right arm, but not my left arm, so fuck knows what's going on with that. Blame the fucking preacher bench. But anyway, this is the isolation curl, my favourite isolation exercise. Using this leg as a pad, I'm going to rest my upper arm on my leg, angle it diagonally, and all I'm doing is curling up. See how this leg is acting as a pad for my arm, so everything can stay nicely fixed in place, and I can curl up. What I'm looking at doing, a lot of people, they'll curl like this, their index finger and thumb will be upwards. This is called a hammer curl. This actually doesn't work your bicep, but I'll get into that later. What we're looking at doing with every bicep movement is twisting our pinky inwards. Look at the difference in contraction from here to here. My biceps it's a completely different range. So I'm looking at curling up while squeezing in with my pinky. Nice, controlled, get the stretch, hold the stretch for a second, and then curl up. Hold the contraction. With biceps, it's very important to get a good mind-muscle connection, get that tongue under tension in, and then you'll be on your way to growing some solid fucking biceps, mate. So I'm going to do one set on this isolation curl, and then we're going to do 2 sets on a heavier movement, which I'll show you after this. So I'll do my first set now. This is my favourite exercise I'm about to show you for growing big biceps. This made the biggest difference for biceps and why my biceps are bigger than your fucking head, right? So, it's called an alternating dumbbell curl. Very simple exercise, but people do it wrong. My concept of doing this exercise is very different to other people, right? A lot of people, they'll sit up here with the 12s or 14s. I like to go as heavy as fucking possible and overload the bicep, right? My one objective with this exercise is to overload the bicep. I'm not going to do the demo with the 24s actually, because that's my top set. So, say in theory these are 24s, right? I'm going to pick a heavy weight to push myself. Literally just alternating, arm to arm, squeezing your pinky inwards. As I explained with that, look at the difference in contraction. I'll show you my other arm. Look at the difference in contraction of my bicep between here and here. You can physically see my bicep contracting a lot more. So alternate, bang. The reason I do alternate is because I'm using a heavy weight and trying to overload it. I get a little bit of rest time between. A lot of people won't say this is one of the most optimal exercises, but it fucking works for me, I'll tell you that. So pick a heavy weight. Picking a heavy weight doesn't mean the form goes to shit, right? In boxing, when I'm doing the jab, if someone says jab faster, my form doesn't deteriorate, my punch doesn't deteriorate. So, same with weight. I'm going to pick a heavier weight, but keep the form precise as possible. So I'm going to aim between 6 and 8 reps on this. I'm going to do 24 kilograms. Obviously, I don't recommend everyone to do 24, but pick a heavier weight. Pick a weight that you think you could realistically do, and add another 2 to 4 kilograms on, and bang them out. If you're having problems with your shoulder, then just stop and put the weight down. You don't want to be silly. I'm not telling you to blow your shoulder out, but you want to push yourself a little bit is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to do my first set. I'm going to show you this raw set and how the intensity should look like. Let me just find the lighting. Most important thing. Right, that's pretty good. Right, so I'm going to do a set on this. Doing a heavy weight, you can feel the movement way more. You'd think that by going lighter, you feel it better because you can isolate it. But in reality, I feel when I go heavier, personally, on any exercise in the gym, when you go a bit heavy, you feel it a little bit more because you're pushing your muscles and you're recruiting a lot more muscle fibers. So, big heavyweight, do a set like that. I went pretty much to failure on that, and I'm going to do one more set on this. So I did one set on the isolation, 2 sets on this, then I've got one more bicep exercise to show you, which is the best one for getting a pump. Right, moving on to our last bicep exercise. I'm going to become Mr. Optimal for a minute. Allow me. So, this exercise is a lying dumbbell curl. A lot of people, they'll perform this, but they'll only kind of sit back here and then do this. Your biceps are not fully stretched in this position. So what I like to do is basically just lie down and do a lying curl. So I'm going to lie pretty flat like this, plant my feet down for stabilization, and you want to just let your arms drop. You don't want to consciously be bringing your arms forward, just let them dangle straight down. And all we're doing is curling up. See, a lot of people when they do this, they'll try and do this to contract the bicep more. That's bullshit. Let your arms hang, stretch, and then squeeze. See how the dumbbells are literally at my chest at the top position, and then I'll lower them down very slowly. This exercise is all about the stretch. Very slowly, squeezing your bicep up, and then squeezing down. Someone actually taught me this exercise, how to do it properly, a few weeks ago in the gym. It fucking blows your bicep up and gives you a pump like nothing else. Because when your bicep's in this stretched position, there's just something about it. The stretch you get in this position, it just shunts all the blood into your bicep. And it's really good at working that different range, right? So we did the isolation curl, that's really gonna get the peak and the full contraction on the bicep. Then we did the alternate curls, that's gonna overload your biceps like nothing else. I promise you, if you do this session that I'm laying out for you, your arms are gonna fucking blow up and you're gonna embarrass everyone else in the gym, right? So then set the bench up like this, and then we're working the lengthened range, stretch here. We're not gonna get as much of a good squeeze as the isolation curl, preacher curl, alternate curl, but you're gonna get a better stretch on all of them. So do this last, get a good pump on. I'm actually gonna give you one more bonus exercise after this as well. So I'll just do 2 sets on this, burn out my biceps, and then we'll move on to a forearm bicep exercise after this. Last little tip I have for you when doing biceps, and this exercise particularly, is actually squeeze and tense your bicep as you're curling. A lot of people, they'll forget about it and just kind of, yeah, I'm curling, I'm doing biceps, thinking about what you're having for fucking dinner, what shit you're gonna bag next. Think about actually contracting your bicep, right, and squeezing as you're curling up. That helped me massively, right? Just thinking about really contracting and squeezing as you curl up, and then on the way down, really just letting your biceps stretch out. It's all about that mind to muscle connection. Stop thinking about whatever's going on outside. You're in the gym, you're here to focus, you're here to grow. So think about contracting your muscle, getting that mind to muscle connection. That way you're gonna progress way further with your training, as opposed to going in the gym, doing a few bicep curls, then fucking off. Really think about contracting your bicep. That'll help you out a lot. Right, bonus exercise. This exercise is gonna target your forearms more than your biceps. It actually targets, so we're doing a hammer curl. This actually targets your brachialis, which is this little thin muscle in here. It makes your biceps just a bit thicker, but it mainly works your forearms, right? So I usually like to tag this on the back end of an arm workout. It's not really gonna work your actual bicep and contribute to bicep growth, but it's gonna get your forearms a little bit thicker and add a little bit of mass in there. So, I'm not gonna curl 10s, but just for a demo, what we're looking at doing, I like doing this exercise both hands at the same time. With the alternate bicep curls, I'll do it like this just because I feel I can focus on each contract at the same time, whereas with ham curls, I just like to do it both hands at the same time. A lot of people, they like to go inwards because they think they get a bit better contraction. They're just chatting shit. Just do it straight, like this, squeeze up, stretch down. Look at how my elbow's pinned in the same place at the same time. What you don't want to do is fucking swing your elbow forward, because then all the tension's on your shoulder and not actually on your bicep. All I'm thinking of doing is keep my elbows pinned to my hip and then curling up. Squeezing for 2 seconds at the top, stretching down. Squeezing for 2 seconds at the top, stretching down. A big part of hammer curls is squeezing at the top, right? So I'm at the bottom, then I'm gonna squeeze in this position. All of this is gonna be contracting, all my forearm is gonna be contracting. and then going back down. A lot of people, they like to do all this kind of fucking wrist curl stuff. That shit's gay. Just do hammer curls, heavy hammer curls, grip the fucking dumbbells hard. This is one exercise where you can really fucking grip the dumbbells hard and focus on your forearms, right? So tag this on the end of your arm workout and you'll see some forearm growth for sure if you overload it over time. You can go pretty heavy on this, same as the alternate dumbbell curl. That's my little bonus tip. Right, that's the end of the session. I'm gonna take you to the other room and I'll give you my 3 top tips for arm growth and summarize the session. Right, my 3 top tips for training arms, biceps, triceps. Tip number 1, get a strong mind-muscle connection, right? A lot of people, they go in the gym thinking about their dinner, thinking about what shit they're banging next. You need to go in the gym and think precisely about contracting a certain muscle which you're targeting. In this case, arms, bicep, triceps, 2 very precise muscles. And you need to work on your mind-muscle connection. Now, this doesn't come overnight. You need to do this day in, day out, perfecting your form, mastering your exercises, and just try and get a feel of each movement and feel the contraction, feel the precise, distinct feeling that you get when you contract your muscle and feeling the stretch. That's very important. Second tip, and that is to train arms twice a week, biceps and triceps twice a week, hard if you really want to focus on bringing up your arms right. My advice would be throwing a full arm day in your full week of training. That way you can just blast your arms like I did today. Just nice 40, 50 minute arm session, just blasting your arms, get your volume up, and it will just give you a chance to focus and isolate your arms. Then you don't have to worry about tagging them on at the end of the push session, which is what most people do. The reason being, the arms are still small. You need to have a dedicated day where you focus on your arms and actually hit them properly, all right? Don't just throw them to the side, brush them under the rug. Actually put conscious effort into training your arms and they will grow with time. Tip number 3, and that's to prioritize triceps when it comes to arm training. You want to fill out a t-shirt, you want to fill out a vest. Mainly is triceps, right? Triceps are 2/3 of your arm. So if you really want to develop in your arm training and get your physique popping, you need to focus on your triceps. Yeah, biceps look cool, but triceps is what's really going to make a difference when it comes to blowing up your arms. So I'll give you 3 top exercises, just execute them twice a week and you'll be sweet. Right, that's it for today's video, guys, and that is it for the Muscle Mastery series. I put so much fucking work into this series. I'm trying to embarrass all these fitness influencers, showing you the real shit of how to train properly. I've developed this over the past 4 or 5 years that I've been training myself, right? I've been training since I was 14 years old. So this, all the information which I wish I could give to my 14, 15, 16-year-old self when I started training. So hopefully you can take this training advice and apply it into your own training. I don't want you to watch these videos, just consume it, brush it over your shoulder, think, oh, that's nice, and then fuck off and keep doing what you're doing, right? I want you to apply the knowledge which I've given you and apply it to your own training. That way you can actually progress. That's it for the series, that's it for the video. See you in the next one.